It's a question about PDFs. We have a function f of x, it's kx squared into 6 minus x between 0 and 6 and nothing otherwise. We have to show, well, find what k is and show us what they say. We have to find the expectation of x and find the probability x is less than 2. First of all, here is our function, and we know that when we integrate any PDF, any function, between its limits, we get an answer of 1. So that's what that statement there is. So I think I moved the, multiplied out the brackets.
But you left out the... Oh no, you don't want to take
Okay. I've taken the k out through the integral sign. Then when I've done my integration, I've shifted the k to the other side. Then it's a case of doing the integration, which I've done there, sticking the limits in, and then I get 1 over k is 108, which means k is 1 over 108. What they had on the question paper was the same fraction, but just not cancelled down.
Why did they do that?
It's because the papers that we're using, they have questions and they throw different numbers into them to generate similar questions. And sometimes things don't cancel down. We had a question last lesson with my other group which went weird because they did that. 3 marks for this altogether. 1 mark for the statement here about integrating, it's 1. 1 mark for getting 1 over k, and another mark for getting k to be 1 over 108. So 3 marks up to that point. Part B was where we had to find the expectation of x. The expectation of x is the integral of x times by the function. So over here I brought my k outside, I've increased the power on x because I'm multiplying by x, and now I need to do this integral. There's 1 mark for having that written down. Then it's a case of, I multiply the brackets out, I did the integration, I put the limits in, and I got an answer out of 3.6. So 2 marks altogether there. 1 for having the equivalent of this up here, where I've multiplied by an x and I've got my k in there, and another mark for the 3.6, 2 marks altogether. And finally, the probability x is less than 2, we need to integrate from our lower limit, which is 0, up to 2, our function. It's not multiplying it by x or anything. So I've taken the 108 outside, I've integrated that, which I've already done I think in this question, put my limits in, and I get an answer out of 1/9. There's 1 mark for integrating and having the limits, 1 mark for the final thing, 2 marks for that question. That gave 7 marks overall on question 8.